What if the only reason you miss out on opportunities is because you believe you're someone who doesn't get them? We tend to move in the direction we can see and tend to fear the direction that we can't. But what happens when what we see is actually an illusion? Goals are wonderful, but they're still actually imagined future states, just places that we hope to reach. They give us a sort of sense of direction, but that direction still leads into the unknown. So goals by nature come from our imagination. And as long as we can imagine the path, we feel good about the goal. But the moment we can't see how we'll get there, even if the goal hasn't changed, it starts to feel distant, hard, implausible, maybe even hopeless. And we do the same thing with failure. When we see failure ahead of us, though, even if it hasn't happened, we feel weirdly prepared. We sort of convince ourselves that we're being responsible, that it's smart to brace for the inevitable disappointment. Why? Well, I think it gives us a sense of power and control. You see, we can manage our expectations. We can pre-negotiate the pain that we expect to feel. But again, none of this has actually happened yet. So success and failure are sort of both imagined, and yet why is it that we treat failure as fact and success as a fantasy? Why do breakdowns feel inevitable and breakthroughs feel naive? I think it's tempting to chalk it up to wisdom, to self-protection, to being realistic. But underneath it all, what we're really doing is letting the past decide the future. That's survival. Survival says if something once hurt you, anything that resembles it in the future must also be dangerous. So a few scary experiences become a pattern, and that pattern becomes your truth. We start to believe that the danger is in the opportunity itself, when the real danger is actually in how we keep meeting the moment. Because survival isn't wrong, it's not the whole story either. Beyond survival is something more resilient, the hope that maybe that this time could be different. Optimism isn't just positivity, it's actually the audacity to say I've been hurt before and I'm still willing to try. But that takes more than hope. It takes the willingness to meet the moment in a new way. Because how can we change the outcome of a moment if we keep approaching it with the same thoughts, the same fears, and the same reactions as before? Eventually, we collect enough failed attempts to feel certain that we were right all along. We lose our sense of possibility. Not because life dried up, but because we keep playing an old game. It's like throwing someone a ball and then watching them duck over and over again. And you could throw 10 more balls and they would still duck. Eventually, they might say, see, I'm just someone who doesn't catch balls. And that's how we make our identities. It's just one small deal at a time, one missed ball at a time. A moment comes, we react, we protect, and we repeat. And soon we stop recognizing that it's even a choice. We just say, that's who I am. But what if it's not who you are? What if it's just the version of you that you've been practicing? You see, you're not doomed. You're just the result of your practice. And most of the practice was never conscious. You were just trying to survive. So when a real opportunity does come along, and believe me, they are coming all the time, you've actually already made your decision. Long before you've even considered it, you've already judged it. You've already dismissed it. You've already whispered to yourself that I can't handle what this will ask of me. And that's the real fear. It's not the opportunity itself, but it's who you believe you'll be when that opportunity arrives. Not whether the thing will be successful or whether it even will fail, but whether you will survive the feelings that it brings. So you make a deal, and it's better to say no and stay safe than to say yes and risk falling apart. That's the deal most people make. Thousands of times, over and over again, so many times, in fact, it becomes invisible. And it's in that invisibility that we call it fate. Not because our future is fixed, but because our identity becomes fixed. Because a fixed identity must meet every moment in the same way in order to validate itself. How else does it prove that it's true? And that's the real heartbreak for me. Big dreams held by a self who's terrified of the path that leads to them. And rather than change the self, we interrogate the deal. We might say that the goal is just too big, too risky, or too unrealistic, when really, it's just incompatible with the identity that we're trying to protect. So the dream goes and the identity stays. And then we call it being unlucky, or that we're not cut out for this, or that we're too late, or we're too much. But if you keep responding to opportunity in the same way, you'll keep creating the same result. No matter how amazing the opportunity is, no matter how hard you work, because the question isn't whether you want it or not. It's whether the part of you that shows up when it's offered can actually receive it. That's what this work is. It's not motivation. It's not mindset hacks. It's not even ego death. is just learning to see, to notice the deal that you're making in the moment, to question whether it still serves you, and to choose a new one consciously, lovingly, and powerfully. This is where freedom lives. It's not in trying harder or being smarter, but it's being able to interrupt the autopilot in the moment. It's recognizing that every moment is a fork in the road, but most of us are too busy surviving it to choose something new. So if there's something in you, in your life, that you want to be different, a new kind of life, a freer one, a fuller one, a more you version of life, then start here. Don't change the goal. Don't even change the plan. Just notice the deal. Because if you don't, it will be chosen for you, ironically, by a version of you that's still trying to survive something long gone. And the cost of that is a life filled with almosts, with maybes, with could have beens. You don't have to change everything today, but I do hope whatever the deal you make in this moment, even with this conversation with me right now, is one that you can really live with.